Today on CityCast Philly, Philly Black Pride kicks off tomorrow. This 4-day-long celebration of Philly's Black queer community includes dance parties, karaoke, and even a skate night. Our arts and culture contributor, Charles Tyson Jr., is joining me to talk about the 24th year of festivities and why Philly's Black LGBTQ plus community is focusing on joy and healing this year. It's Wednesday, April 26th. I'm Trinae Nuri, and here's what Philly's talking about. Hey, Charles.
Hey, Trinae. How are you?
I'm good. Let's go back 24 years ago in Philly. How did Philly Black Pride begin?
Philly Black Pride was the brainchild of Michael Henson, who was a driving force in the LGBTQ community in Philadelphia. He was a Renaissance man. He was the city's first LGBTQ liaison to the mayor's office.
And that was during the John Street era, right?
Yes, in 1999. And in conjunction with Colors, which was the organization that catered to the Black and brown LGBTQ population, specifically in terms of HIV/AIDS education and prevention, they put together a celebration of life for the Black and brown queer population, aka Philly Black Pride. And it was initially very centered around health and wellness and awareness and support and resources for the queer Black community, because, you know, the queer community at large, but the Black population in particular, gets overlooked, gets ignored. And we unfortunately lost Michael last year. He passed away at 55.
And Charles, you also have a podcast called Full Circle where you talk about those issues.
Yes.
From your perspective, what does Philly Black Pride mean for our city?
The Black and brown queer community is very vibrant and very strong and unique. Philly Black Pride is a celebration of that strength and uniqueness. It's got its own flavor, because when you think of Philly Pride, you think of go-go boys on floats and drag queens, and that's fabulous. But you also get, that vibe, that flavor that Black folks have, and also that consciousness, that groundedness, that I almost want to say spirituality that comes from, that sense of community and togetherness that we share. And it's amazing. It's wonderful. It's its own thing that I am so glad to have seen grow and thrive.
I love that. Charles, you actually spent some time talking with Lee Thomas, who's the current president of Philly Black Pride. What did he tell you?
I got to talk to Lee Thomas, and he talked about how, this year is going to be a celebration of Black joy.
It's a celebration of life. It's a celebration of bringing communities together. It's a celebration of advocating for the community and having access to resources, access to education, access to basically to live and be able to do that authentically.
So yeah, that attention to authenticity is very important because, the Black and brown queer community is very influential in terms of, style, and let's not even get into influence on pop culture. We're the tastemakers, and so this is where I guarantee things that we'll be seeing in pop culture in 2 years are going to have their start this weekend. Watch.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Shifting gears a bit, mental health is also a very important topic that will be discussed at some of the events this year.
Yes.
Charles, how is the organization creating space for these types of conversations?
For one thing, having the conversations that attempt to break down the stigma of mental health care, especially in the Black and Brown community, is going to be a big point in this year's festival, because there's still that mindset with a lot of folks, we don't tell our business. We got to be strong. Don't let people, hear your personal, you know what I mean?
And that can be like
it's
a
problematic.
burden. I got to let this go. Yeah.
Exactly. And that ties into the whole thing of, the strong Black woman and the strong Black man, and how that is not sustainable. Why do we have to always be the strong ones? Why can't we have moments of weakness and vulnerability and softness?
I want to live that soft life.
Thank you. And why not? So that's very valuable. The idea that taking care of your mental health is of vital importance, especially nowadays when we're bombarded with trauma, and you got to get it out. You got to let it out, and you got to find positive ways and constructive ways to let it out. And that's something that Lee and I also talked about in our conversation.
We wanted to show people that therapy does not necessarily look one way. Obviously, you can, find a therapist and sit on that couch and talk, but there are other ways that we try to protect our mental wellness, and we really don't know that we're doing it. Like dancing is a part of that. Music is a therapy alternative. Yoga, people spend hours and hours in the gym. That is a part of your mental wellness.
So, how does celebrating Black Pride also relate to healing and finding that joy?
For one thing, giving yourself the permission to have and feel joy is vital. Being able to express yourself, express your queerness, express your femininity, all the qualities that as society is always being repressed, but especially amongst Black folks, being able to be yourself out loud at 100. Even if this is the only outlet that you get, which I pray that it isn't, it's giving the opportunity to give that a voice and give that a space and have a community that you can share it in. And that is so vital.
Charles, I can't let you go without your recommendations, because that's what I love to talk to you about as well. What are you looking forward to? What are some can't miss events happening this weekend?
Well, the kickoff to Philly Black Pride is going to be a late night karaoke at Level Up Bar and Lounge. And it's going to have music by DJ Kid Rock, special guest host Ari. And I can tell you from personal experience, Level Up plus karaoke, either of those two things on their own is amazing. You put them together and you are going to have a good time.
Okay.
Then there is the Throwback Jam skate party.
I like to skate. I love that.
Yeah, so it's a skate jam. It's a throwback 90s party at Rolling Thunder. And, personally, I am not a skater because the first and last time I went roller skating, I sprained my ankle, and that was when I was 10. However, I have always been a fan of, Black folks getting together for skating parties, because it's always the music is going to be lit, the party is going to be hot. And so I know that that's going to be a good time. So that's why I'm recommending it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So on April 29th, there's going to be the Saturday Slay, which is a house music party that is going to be at X Bar. And again, house music, you got me. I think of, my early days as a young, out and proud Black queer person. And I think of being out several hours past my bedtime and my curfew, dancing and voguing to the hottest house mixes. And this is going to be the exact same thing. You want to be there. That's all I can say. You want to be at this party.
Charles Tyson Jr., our arts and culture contributor, thank you so much for joining me on CityCast Philly.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
To learn more about Philly Black Pride and the list of events that Charles recommended and some others that are happening April 27th through April 30th, check out the link in our show notes. And here's what else Philly's talking about. State Representative Donna Bullock is proposing a bill to increase the penalties for illegal trash dumping. 6ABC reports that House Bill 95 would increase fines up to a maximum of $20,000 for repeat offenders. This legislation is aimed at discouraging businesses that dump illegally because the fines are cheaper than legal disposal fees. And today, April 26th, is National Pretzel Day. Go to your nearest Philly Pretzel Factory location for a free treat. One per guest and no purchase necessary. If you want to hear more about Philadelphia pretzels, check out the team's Philly Treats episode in our feed. It's time for the tip of the day, where we share a life hack for living in Philly. If you're looking for some LGBTQ plus community support groups in the city, check out the Hey Philly newsletter. Be sure to sign up at philly.citycast.fm. If you have a tip of the day, we'd love to hear from you too. Call or text us at 215-259-8170. That's all for today here on CityCast Philly. If you enjoyed this episode, please tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to sign up for our morning newsletter too. It's called Hey Philly. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.